Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Bloodthirsty Thursday. First and foremost, I do hope each and every one of you are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk, all that wonderful stuff, because life's too short otherwise. I hope you're watching some great movies or binge watching some awesome series here lately. Please do like, share, and subscribe. I have seen few new faces around here, and I very, very, very much appreciate that. And do always look in the description box for more information on the date of the film, such as a brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, the runtime of the cut I am watching, a couple little trivia things if I find anything worthwhile, and then a link for a trailer or a scene, which today is a trailer, which is nice. Most of the movies I come across, I am able to find a trailer for you guys to make it a little give you a little more taste of the movie that I am reviewing for the day, to push you, to give you even more of a push if you wish to watch it or not, one of those kind of things. Alright guys, now that I got all that opening spiel out of the way, let's move on to the movie of the day. Today's a very good one. It's one that I am proud to have, one that I should have reviewed a while ago, but I am just now getting to it. And what better time than now during Slasher Week? Because this is a perfect slasher. I've done 2 weeks in a row of nothing but slashers. Next week I'll go on to something else, I swear. I just was having so much fun with Slasher Week last week. I thought I would do some more this week. Anyways, but next week, do look out. I have a SOV, Lost SOV from 1999, I believe, is when that one came out. I have that one coming next week that I'll be reviewing for you guys. I'm not 100% what else I got going on. There might be a couple of Vinegar Syndrome in there because I've gotten some new stuff since. Maybe I'll squeeze in Bloody Birthday here on the 8th of September. Because that's a special day. Anyways. Alright guys, let's move on to the movie of the day. It came out in 1980. Yes, that magical year of 1980 is none other than the year I was born. And this is none other than The Amazing Terror Train. Whoa. Yes, folks, this is a great one. 40 years old now. It will be 40 years old, I believe, this fall. From what I think I remember reading on it, because I think this was a fall release, which it totally should be, because it fits perfectly. It takes place on New Year's Eve, which you could even make it a part of a New Year's Eve release. I am going to probably start including this for my New Year's Eve watches, because I don't have there really isn't enough for New Year's Eve horror films, or at least ones that I like. This one and New Year's Eve, I have a very soft spot for, even though that one is not very good. I still love it for all the wrong reasons, for all the wrong and the right reasons. You have to excuse me, my sniffer's a little off today, because I am suffering from allergies. Not the COVID, guys. Don't worry. I am not sick. It's just my allergies. Anyways, this is right here. This is the Scream Factory Blu-ray DVD Collector's Edition release. It is a standard issue pressed Blu-ray and DVD. It does have reversible artwork on it here. This is the artwork I went with, was the old artwork that I remember it most for. And then this is the newly commissioned artwork, which I do really like that as well. I think that's actually a very good one for the new artworks. A lot of them I usually don't care for. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. I like the old school presentation of how it was. I love the artwork that it had. I mean, nothing is more iconic than our killer here wearing his like Groucho Marx looking costume and mask, with his dagger about to stab somebody, and it has this magical, excuse me, That's a magical catchline. The boys and girls of Sigma Pi, some will live and some will die. Yes, yes, yes. As far as your special features goes on here, there is, I think it's 4. Excuse me. There's 4 different interviews on here, all with crew members. None of them with any of the cast, which is a kind of a bummer. I mean, I would like to hear something from at least someone that worked in front of the camera. Too bad they couldn't have got Jamie Lee or David Copperfield to do this one, because both of those would have been pretty interesting to hear what they had to say as far as any kind of commentary goes. Jamie Lee would be the best. Ben Johnson, if you could bring him back, he'd be awesome. Now, like I said, this one stars Ben Johnson, which a lot of you guys should probably know him from The Wild Bunch. I also like him in the movie Dillinger. He did a bunch of other stuff. I'm not going to sit here and name off like 30 different movies that he did. Those are my 2 favorites by him that I always think of. Those movies are just amazing films. If you haven't seen The Wild Bunch, check it out. It's top notch. It's got one of the greatest shootouts of all time in it. I think at one point it had, excuse me, folks, the record for most squibs going off on one body for one person being shot up. I think it had that for a little while. That's probably long been passed up by other films, because there is just so much stuff out there that they could that has passed it up. I think of Terra Firma right away because they talk about that in Terra Firma. Anyways, who else do we got in here? We got Jamie Lee Curtis, which all of you should know Jamie Lee from Halloween, Prom Night, The Fog, Halloween 2, gosh, just everything that she's been a part with the Halloween franchise. I really like her in Trading Places. You get to see her tatas in there not once but twice, and they are very bodacious, and I very much liked them. The lady has quite the career. True Lies is another one I really like of hers, with her and Arnie. That's a really fun one. We got Hart, Bochner in here, and David Copperfield. Yes, yes, yes. None other than the magician himself, David Copperfield. He has a very interesting role in here. He's basically playing himself. It doesn't look like he's doing much acting at all, other than he's delivering some lines once in a while that he normally wouldn't deliver as a part of his act. One of those kind of ordeals. And this is directed by none other than Roger Spottiswoode, which I don't really recognize that name off the top of my head right now. I'm sure Roger has done other stuff, but this is his most notable thing that I know of. Otherwise, I would say check out his career, but I'm sure it's pretty. Usually when people have great horror films out in the 80s, they tend to have kind of a weird career afterwards. They either stop doing horror or slashers or whatnot, but their careers tend to go in weird directions, which I think a lot of it is they're trying to get out of that a bubble that they've been stuck in, one of those kind of ordeals. Now, what is this movie about exactly? It's about a group of fraternity and sorority people that are going on their yearly New Year's Eve night train soiree that they have out in the middle of nowhere, where they get drunk and have a party and have dancing and food and a magician, which, you know, I mean, who would have thought, hey, let's have a magician at this thing, you know? It's 1980, why the fuck not? But they're out on their little thing, and somebody's slowly picking them off one by one. Now, how does it start? At the very beginning of the movie, you have this really bizarre scene where they are luring this kid into, not a kid, I mean, he's a kid to me, but this young fellow into a darkened room where he's in hopes of going to make it with Jamie Lee Curtis. He goes in there, and they have Jamie Lee Curtis is behind the bed and talking to him. In the bed is definitely not her. It's a rotten corpse, because they work for a bunch of them are medical students, so they had access to dead bodies and things of that such. Because at one point, as it's going on, he comes over and he touches her in the hand. I think he touches her, and then he finds out that she's a corpse. He immediately stands up and starts freaking out. And he starts spinning circles, which is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I've never thought of spinning in circles when I'm scared. I usually am just like, and I run the opposite direction of it. But normally I wouldn't just stand there and spin circles, which the guy does. And fast forward a couple years later, after the guy has been, I think they said they put him in a mental asylum or whatnot, but anyways, it's prank gone awry is essentially what it is. And fast forward it, I think it's 2 years later, they're having another fraternity thing, and it always takes place on New Year's Eve. As we're getting on, as we're boarding up for the train, we get to see one of our first victims of the movie. Very memorable death, because he is the person that is supposed to be the person that is dying. They think it's a joke because he is a huge prankster, and this is our man that is wearing this costume here. That what besides the conductor's cap, that it doesn't happen till much later in the film, but because, you know, the conductor is played by Ben Johnson, and he is doing his best to try to keep things together, not freak out the other passengers in the process. And then at first, you know, he feels like he is going a little crazy, like, did I see what I really saw? Because I know what I saw, and that's not it. Because at one point, our killer happens to kill. Our killer dispatches a victim in one of the bathrooms, and he is dressed up like the victim is dressed up in this weird snake costume, very 80s. 70s-ish, very cornball looking costume. It just does not look good, in my opinion. But he kills this person. Ben Johnson happens to come in after many people are knocking on the bathroom wanting to get in there. They go off to the other bathroom. He happens to open it up and take a look. He sees blood and dead body and just smashed up stuff everywhere. He closes it, locks it back up, goes up to the front, tells the other crew members. They come down to take a look, and the body, our victim is no longer dead, and the blood is no longer there. It's been all cleaned up, and our person on the floor is now moving around. Which you quickly find out that it is our killer. It is very obvious, because you see Mr. Snake Man get killed, so you're not fooled like what they are in the movie. Not one of those ordeals. So you 100% know what's going on. But there's that fun scene. There's a fun scene that involves what do I want to give away? Oh, the way they talk about the way they deliver the ending and the end, who the killer is, and how the killer was able to hide amongst them is just like mind-boggling. Like, whoa! Like I could tell that person, when I looked at that person, something wasn't completely right, but I wasn't 100% sure what it was. One of those ordeals. It definitely makes you think twice when you go back to rewatch it, and you forget, like, oh yeah, that's so and so right there, because the movie is delivered so well. Now, as far as like deaths go, they're pretty basic in my opinion. Nothing that's gonna be like, oh, there is one where they throw one of our victims, who was our first victim of the killer, his body is placed on the tracks and does get run over by the train, and it is they don't show it, but it is one of those things like, ooh, it's cringy, like just thinking like how bad that would have been, because he was laying lengthwise on the track, so it would have ran over his head, over his entire body. It would have been just nothing left but squish. Nothing but fucking bloody popcorn everywhere. Now, as far as anything else goes along with the story, I don't want to give anything else other than it's a slasher movie. You know, you're going to get your one-by-one victims standard slashed as we go. You're going to get a great couple little magical gags in here as well, done by David Copperfield. You get top-notch performances from Jamie Lee Curtis and Ben Johnson. I couldn't get enough of Ben Johnson in here. I thought he was a great character in this. I thought he was a perfect person to be working with Jamie Lee. One of those kind of deals. Now, as far as technical side of ratings goes on this thing, this is probably a 4 out of 5, because it's filmed so well. The story works so well. The development of it is good. The momentum stays at a nice, even pace. I never felt like it was convoluted, or I never got bored at all. There's some interesting cinematography, nothing that's going to blow your mind away. Nothing that's mind-boggling, in my opinion. Now, let me see, let's see, Ben Johnson, yeah, he wanted to make the film because he'd worked with Spottiswoode on some Peckinpah stuff. That's where Spottiswoode is from the Peckinpah stuff. But that's amazing stuff. Oh, and then the way they made the train look like it was moving constantly is they had it in a giant warehouse, and they had a machine that would shake it to simulate the movement of them being on the train, which was kind of cool. I liked that. You would have never known otherwise that they were not moving on a train. Clever editing. Clever filmmaking, guys. Good job. So I'm going to give it a 4 on that end. As far as entertainment side goes, I can't bring up enough of that great acting that we have in this one, and the great story. The gore it's not very. There's not a ton of it by any means, but when there is some, it is fun little gore gags. What else we got? An interesting scenario on top of it. It kind of makes you think of like Murder on the Orient Express, but Halloween on a train, one of those kind of things. That's the how I read something about how that's how Spottiswoode came up with the idea. Was he watched Halloween, and then he watched Silver Streak, and then he thought, oh, what would it be like to put Halloween on a train, and essentially, he got his wife called it Terrible Train, and then later on he changed it to Terror Train. fun little fact. If that's true, that's pretty cool in my opinion, how he came up with that. So let's give this thing a 4 out of 5 as well, and this is an 8 out of 10 kind of slasher. This is top notch. This is an A-list slasher in my opinion. It is good enough to do a Friday review on. I almost saved it for tomorrow because it is so good, but I couldn't wait. It is just that good. I couldn't wait to talk about this movie. Love it, love it, love it. Alright guys, I'm going to get the hell out of here. I hope you all have a great day, great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow with another slasher. I'm not really 100% what I'm going to do. It's between 3 different movies. I'm not quite sure yet. One of them may be another Jamie Lee Curtis movie. Maybe. Alright, love your faces.